So we have an open recall on the 23 CVOs. And I noticed on the Harley-Davidson app that there was a badge telling me something was up. So if we take a look at the Harley-Davidson app, you can see on my bike here, it shows an open recall. The app shows you quite a bit of information about your bike. You can see your current odometer, you can see your software version, and if it's up to date, that's very handy. And then down below here, you can see we have an open recall, October 10th. So we can see the details of the recall here. It says on certain early production models of the 2023 CVOs, a lower frame rail clamp may not retain the rear brake line, which may allow the line to contact the exhaust. Contact between the brake line and the exhaust could, over time, lead to a hole in the brake line and a loss of rear brake fluid. That would be quite the disaster. So if we switch over to the Harley-Davidson Service Information Portal, we can get some more information about this recall. So from the main page there under Recent Important Documents, you can see the recall is listed right there, Recall 0184. So here's our service bulletin about the recall. It gives you the part number for the rear brake line and the part number for the recall brake line P clamp. If we keep going down here, they have some additional information. They're encouraging us to install a new P clamp, number 3, from the recall kit, and make sure the P clamp is properly oriented. And then you install the screw, tighten it, the torque to 9 to 11 Newton meters or 80 to 97 inch-pounds. So they give us an image. If we zoom in here, we can see where the concern is. So we're looking down here at the corner of the frame. And here you can see there's a clamp there, and that's where the area of concern is. If we zoom in a little bit on that space, you can see a little more detail of what that clamp looks like. If we go back, they have a blown up image here of that clamp. So you can see that they have a new clamp and it wraps around the brake line, securing it to the frame. So let's take a look at my bike and see what we see. So here's the clamp, and you can see that there's a rubber grommet that is secured by this clamp, but the opening is facing outward. So I guess in theory, this could pop out and then rub up against the exhaust. But there is a lot of distance between this clamp and the frame rail and the exhaust. So it'd have to really come out and come separated to make contact. So I think that's pretty low risk. The new clamp is really just this clamp but flipped over. So it's pushing that rubber grommet up against the frame. As I was looking under here, you can see here is a clamp holding several lines, including the harness. And then over here, it's kind of missing. And I notice my brake line here is covered in a rubber covering, but it's loose here. And that clamp is actually up there, but it's broken. So the connection to the frame rail here is broken, and this is popped loose. So this should actually be in the clamp up here, and then that clamp, if it wasn't broken, would be holding it vertical. So I'm going to need to replace that. Maybe that's what the recall should be about, more so this than that one. Well, there you have it. Recall 0184 for the 23 CVO Road Glides. Doesn't look too critical to me, at least on my bike. That clamp does not look like it's going to let go of that brake line. But I encourage you to go out to your garage and take a look at yours, and then get that recall scheduled at your dealer to get the new clamp. So that recall, along with the service bulletin for the harness, are the only 2 official corrections to the new bikes thus far. So stay tuned, we'll see what else comes out, and I'll always be here to inform you of what's happening. Until next time, in the Friction Zone.